Hello, world. This is Rex Arthur's show, and I hope you're all fine. And today we want to do a short video about as I said in one of the videos, I was going to do a video about what happened in Kenya. The Twitter hashtag that was saying Ifikie Wazazi, which means let it get to the parents. This is what happened. Children were youngsters. I want to use children, it's too small. Youngsters were doing a lot of naughty sexual acts. They were showing off, how they can get dirty with each other, and photography, actually just pornography. And many parents were, not parents, but some people were not happy because I didn't see all the parents of those kids come out and say that my kid stopped this. So some people are funny. It's just a culture war that's happening. And so what happened is the people started talking about the sex culture, and they were feeling like, some people, majority were feeling like, no, this should not be happening. Our youngsters are getting involved in sexual activities. And I was like, no, it's okay. Don't condemn them. What you do is educate them. What they have done, what these youngsters are showing you, they understand their bodies. Their bodies want to do something. It's so natural. Their bodies want to do something. And they do it. You see, young people are the best scientists because they are curious. They are always curious. They always want to know what will happen when I do this. Where does this part go? Can it enter here? That's a young person's mind. He's very curious. And so that's why they do that. But as you grow older, you become kind of a bit strict, a bit more mature, and you feel more responsible. But then you forget that this youngster is not thinking like you and can't think like you. So you now give them your lifestyle. You impose the lifestyle of a 40-year-old onto a 12-year-old, and you tell him, behave like a 40-year-old. I demand you to be 40. And this is a kid who is 12 years old. You are putting that person in disaster, psychological disaster, because if he's going to behave 40 when he's 12, when he gets to 40, he will look for his 12 years old. That's the nature. So the best thing to do is just understand that these are youngsters. Let them have their time. Of course, I also cannot stop you from, because I'm a freedom freak, I cannot stop you from expressing your views, your disgust or your hate towards something. It's your right. However, every right has sometimes its limits, and the one limit is hate. Hate should be the most limited, because if you let hate free, you will kill people with it. If you let hate free, and that is why there is hate crime. Yes, the hate crime is whereby you go against somebody for the way they live. Something private like sex. If you invade someone's sex life and you want to kill him because of what he does in private, or even if he's with somebody, because sometimes, like, you attack somebody because of you found out that they are gay or they are transgender. That's a hate crime. And you are not supposed to attack somebody physically for that lifestyle they have. And that's what happens when you have moral crusades. Okay, moral crusades are there sometimes because some people want order, you know, but don't be so extreme in the sense that you even want to take people out. I mean, to arrest them. That's why any country that has criminalized LGBT people, they should have a red alert. The hate crime is being done by that country. Yes, it doesn't matter because the state, the law, is what guides that state. It does, and if you are a country of law and order, then it is dangerous to have a law that criminalizes people of a different sexual identity. And that is what can happen in such a scenario. So Kenya should not be so in a hurry to to attack their children and their youngsters for being a bit sexually liberal. It is part of the life we are living. The world we are living in right now, we are very free, in the sense that internet, we are so knowledgeable. I mean, like right now, can you take away the internet from children? It's you'll be just you're done. It's like giving a kid a cigarette and then taking it away from him. He is going to work so hard to know how to make that cigarette. It's simple. He will work because he knew what he got from it. You gave it to him. So it's just like the internet and technology. I mean, smartphone technology. Children are so good at it now, better than even the older people. So, what are you gonna do? Are you going to take away the technology? Guess what? You're creating geniuses when you do that. They are going to do it. That's the same with how to deal with sexual behavior. You don't antagonize it, because if you antagonize it, you are even making it worse. You're going to make those people find a way. Like now, if you tell those kids, bring all your phones, bring all your devices, we want them, you're never going to do it again. I'm telling you, they will. And this time, they will do it in a in a more horrendous way. Why? Because you're energizing. It's like a slave, when you make a slave suffer, he's going to find every hole to run through out of the slavery everywhere. So that's how it is. So anyway, it was my observation, but I was happy. Let's go to the other part of the conversation. I was happy that there were intellectuals discussing about our cultural norms. When I say cultural norms, is the African norms, the black people norms, which are also diverse. Some African cultures, they do initiation in a different way. They don't necessarily circumcise. They remove teeth. In the Maasai, you have to kill a lion to be a Moran. So there are different ways of being initiated in an African culture. And by initiation, I mean it's a very important step because it means adulthood. And adulthood in African context meant sex. It meant sex. And sex meant marriage. And marriage meant children. And children, once you got your children, in Africa, you have finished your life. You've finished the course of life. And it's the same also like, the bar mitzvah with the Hebrew people. They also have that thing. They want everybody to go through that cycle. But in reality, life is not like that. Not everybody goes through those cycles. And that's what many people don't understand in cultural systems. They think everybody must pass through that system. Everybody must go through this. And if you don't go through it, you are cast, you are rejected, you're thrown out of the society. And that is what happens in very conservative cultures. But in liberal cultures, which I prefer, like the Western cultures are very liberal, because they left their old ways long time ago. And so the Western culture is very liberal. They don't force you to do things. You don't have to go through a rite of passage. Yeah, you don't have to go through a rite of passage to be an adult. All you do is go to school, finish school, get a job, leave your parents, do whatever you want to do, marry whomever you want to marry. Even if you don't want to marry, you can stay single. That's up to you. That's the Western liberal culture, which is I prefer it that way because we are individuals and you know what you want. But in the conservative cultures, they want everybody to do something. They already plan for you. And if you are against it, they just say no. Now this one is bad man. This is a bad woman. Cast. And so the people were talking and they said, in our African cultures, the girls were taught separately and the boys were taught separately about life and sex. So this problem is maybe happening because we have forsaken that old system of teaching. And I said, yeah, it makes some sense because sex only happened amongst children when they became adults, and that was initiation. And when they became adults, some children became adults at age 12. Like for boys, age 12, they were already, as long as you are now having your wet dreams, you're circumcised, you're free, go and do what you want, have sex with whomever you want. So sex was happening amongst young people. I mean, there are even ladies who are, how many of your grandmothers, your great grandmothers, I'm now talking to the black people, were 16 when they gave birth? Very many. So you can't go and punish them and go back into history and look for the great grandmother who gave birth to your forefather or foremother because she did it when she was 15. See, the law is not retrospective. It can't go back to the past and look and punish all of those women who gave birth to children below the age of 18. See, because those times there was nothing to do in the world. So by the time you are removing seed and you are menstruating, you can have sex. Only that the ladies were, especially in Africa, they were kept because they were, money. You know why? The womb was everything. Because whatever comes out from that womb was the seed and everything. So they valued women. That's why till today in Africa, they pay dowry. See, now in Western culture, they don't pay dowry for the women because for them, they value more love. There are issues about love. But in Africa, the issue is that what am I going to get from this womb? The seed, the whole thing of agriculture is very much in African thinking. And so that's how they see. That's why they don't even look at sex as pleasure. Most of Africans, it's secondary, or some it is not even an issue. Their issue is I have to get something from that womb. And then when they get, they are settled. They feel good. But in the Western culture, it is different. And now the Western culture has done so much that you don't even need. Do you know the first artificial womb was created last year? So it is now in the West, you don't even need a woman to produce a kid. And that's very significant because it is now showing us that the world is going into another scenario of wombs can be found everywhere. It's not only a woman who can have a womb. Even now, transgenders, women, trans women, they are also going to have wombs. And so the science is already out, it's already done. You can even put a uterus in a man and you remove his genitals and give him a vagina, And not only that, you can even stay with your penis, and you have a uterus, and you do a cesarean. Yeah, and life goes on. And I always tell Christians, children are a blessing from God, including those from trans women. Yes, they are a blessing. Including those from IVF, they are a blessing. Including those from stem cell, they are a blessing. So, so what we are going through in the black world is cultural realignment and chaos, because the people are still holding to the ancient cultural path. Then they have the colonial culture that they acquired. Then now we are having the modern culture. To all of these cultures are, if you've seen a computer, I mean, there is no computer you have that can have the Linux and the Microsoft. However, they are, and all you need is a supercomputer. A supercomputer. So even humans are to be superhuman, that they can have Linux, and they can have Microsoft, and they can have all the programming language in one human being. So you can have the ancient life, you can be this. This is why you have the pantheists. A pantheist, he's a Muslim. He can be a Muslim today. Tomorrow he's going to be Buddhist. Tomorrow is Hindu. Tomorrow is a Christian. Then when he's a Christian, tomorrow he wants to be Catholic. Then the next day he's going to be SDA. Then the next day, So they know everything, because knowledge is finite. Yes, knowledge is finite. So anyway, that is the life of the system of what's happening in the modern world, and the Kenyan parents